Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Thursday night and we are live. I am the great one, Dixie Dave, along with my co-host, Flusher Crossen.
It is Crusher Crossen. You don't ever say Flusher Crossen. That name doesn't exist. The person who said that is lucky he's not 6 feet under pushing up daisies that started that comment. Flusher Crossen. Yes, we are live with
and I'm here
Dixie.
With the five-time loser.
Dixie Doorknob. What they used to say? It was a Dixie Doorknob or Door. There was a nickname they had for it. I can't remember how it went.
I don't remember.
I want to say Doorknob. Yeah, Dixie Doorknob. Yes. How do you like that?
I'm just trying to figure out some kind of comeback.
And Dave,
that old timer's kicking in on you.
Dave, I got to remind you, you talk about, you're the reason the NWF sold out on October 18th. The reason NWF sold out on October 18th was because Crusher Crossen and Mr. Macho, the most heated rivalry at the time, was on that card.
Oh, come on. You guys were on almost every Armory card, and none of them sold out. The only one that ever sold out was the one Dixie Dave appeared on.
Come to think of it, Dave, you were only on one Armory show. Because you were in Florida for the July card.
Yeah.
I think you weren't back from Florida yet on our last August card.
Right.
And I don't know what happened in March. I think Larry had something to do with all that. But yeah, so anyways, we're off and running, guys. It's a NWF Rewind. We are going to Fred Moore Junior High in the infamous dungeon. It was a damn dungeon down there. And cold, not really cold, but musky. Just a like you're in the cellar, right?
Yep.
And it was great. We loved it at the time, but I see Wayne McCarty's in the house here.
Hello, Wayne. I'm sorry you went for that reason.
I went to see Luscious Larry. Yeah. Nah, Wayne, you went to see Crusher Crossen. Larry was in another attraction, but it was not and that wasn't Dixie Doorknob, but it was Crusher Crossen. Yeah, that just sounds better, right? Hey, by the way, Wayne, I seen the claw or whatever. You had a picture. I don't know if that was recent or whatever. That looked pretty cool. I don't know if that debuted or something in the cities. The claw movie, Dave. Familiar with it? You don't know about it?
Nope.
Yeah, they did a movie on Baron von Raschke. I know this has been in the works for a while, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I would like to see that. But I see he had an Instagram post, but it could be an old one too. It might have been an old picture, but it looked like it was recent. Curious. Let's see. And then Sports Video says, so Dave was one and done. Does that even count, Crusher? Yeah, exactly. You really, Dave, that's a good point. You were kind of a one and done Armory carder.
No, you also got to remember the Brooklyn Park.
Oh, that's right. You were on Brooklyn Park. So yeah, Dave was on the Brooklyn Park show. But Dave, was that a sellout?
Well, it was area that I wasn't familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah, Brooklyn Park was a challenge for us. The trouble with Brooklyn Park, and Wayne knows this, is it's this, where do you advertise in that town? They don't have a downtown. So it's like Anoka, you go plaster the downtown with posters.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a challenge for us doing Brooklyn Park. Yeah, so Wayne was saying that it was an online film festival and it was on Amazon Prime as of this summer. That's cool. That's cool stuff. So I want to talk a little bit, Dave, about a couple things before we get to the watch along. As you know, we have a big announcement coming up. Now, normally I save this for the end of the show, but I'm going to pop this one in early. NWF big announcement and special guests coming up on NWF Forward next Friday. Definitely tune in, guys. This is NWF related just as much as it's NIPW related. It's going to be a very interesting announcement that we have to make here, and it's definitely a big announcement. And
What, are you booking me on the show, seeing that it says special guest, and you're not telling me about it?
well, no, Dave, because we didn't. I didn't say big guest. I said special guest. I said big announcement, special guest, not big guest. That was that wouldn't apply to you. So,
Well,
but
I would be a big special guest. I mean, Canary's dying for me to come on the show.
yeah. And I want to show you guys some. I actually improved these even more from when you seen them last. I'm going to show you some. We're celebrating the NWF's 40th anniversary of the championship belt. So here's Ace. He was the first one. I've actually got the picture even better now, so it's a better picture of him. Incredible stuff we can do now with photo restorations. So Ace was the first one, followed by Kid USA Kelsey, who thinks he was the best champion of all time. And Matt, that is questionable. I will say that. And because I beat you for that belt, Kid USA, I have to remind him.
But then
of that.
he turned around and beat you, and you
Not
never
necessarily. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he got the title, but he never pinned me or made me submit.
Well, it was all in line with the rules of the match.
And then the next up in line was yours truly, Crusher Crossen, in 85, 86, 87, 2 different reigns with the blue belt. Very cool stuff. So, yeah. And then, of course, there's one more that held this blue belt, Dave, and we'll reveal that picture on the next show. So, yeah, just a little fun stuff there. And I also want to show you one other thing, and then we're going to get to the watch long. Now, as you know, we do the restorations and upscaling and everything. That's what this is all about right now, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Upscaling, enhancing. Well, the software I use is coming out with their next generation of restorations, and boy, oh boy, is it going to be good. Now, I don't know when they're going to actually have this finalized where we'll be able to actually make use of it, because right now we can only do 10-second segments in preview mode. But let me just show you. I'm going to go to this watch long screen, and I want to show you can see the quality here. Now, this is just, I just grabbed an interview from the Group W studio to show you the quality. Now, that's a side-by-side comparison. I'm going to jump over to the actual screen here so I can control it, and I'll do a side-by-side and see a little better. Now, if I whoops, am I on the right one? Guess it isn't letting me. I thought I could control this line, but it isn't letting me. Well, that's fine. You can see though the right side and then the left side. I can do this. So now this is old, that's new. So again, old, new. Old, new. Look at that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, that is just just amazing. And did that switch to the new other one, Dave, or is it still on the old one? It's still on the old one. There is another one I can show you too of actual wrestling, but you get the idea, I think.
Oh yeah, they enjoy what they get for their money.
Yeah, I mean that's just, and again, since we're on the screen, I'll just go back. I wish I could. There used to be a way where I could do it with this, and I could move this line, but it won't let me do it. Oh well, I used to be able to like kind of move this around. But yeah, so that's pretty good stuff. It's gonna be better than it ever was. No more alien faces. I know you guys thought that was funny, but all that kind of stuff. It's just gonna, the idea that we can take VHS and turn it into this is incredible. So I don't know when this is gonna, transfer over to get into this quality. Where it's gonna be where we can actually make use of it. It could be another year or so. I'm going to keep restoring it the way I have been for now. And then when this technology does come available in the next year or two, I'll go and redo the catalog again. And we'll get it even better. So,
yep.
So that's what we'll do. But yeah, pretty cool stuff, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. I got to find out where. There we are. I just got to get back to here. So that is just a little peek at what's to come. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Let's see. Got a couple more comments here. Wayne just following up again on that. The main cinema in Minneapolis has a 2-night showing in their Minnesota-made series. Okay, so that's part of what I think the claw was then, right? And then Sky Sports Video News says, "What an improvement to the video! You're not going to stop till you get to 4K." Well, I mean, if they keep coming out with better, and that's just the way it works. It's just going to get better in time with the software, and when it does, I have to take advantage of it. You know.
Yep, you'll be, if a wrestler's got pimples, you'll be able to see every little crater in their face.
Yeah. But it's just nice because I those, like, that particular stuff there, those interviews, and then like if I showed you the scene of here. I'm just gonna get that out. Oh, there we go. And then I can put this one into, I guess. So I'm going to show you this other one quick. This will just give you an idea of wrestling action. Since you've seen an interview, how about what does it look like in the wrestling action? Well, here it is. So again, you can see left and right. Now what I'll do is I think this one seems to be the best. This is old, that's new. Old, new. And I guess the line works good too. So you can see, I mean, the clarity, the faces, they stayed together. I forget the technical terms they do, but it basically uses frame interpolation. It looks at every frame, like 20 frames before, 20 frames after, to make sure it gets the right upscaling.
Right.
And everything. So it's like it's doing a lot more than what it's doing currently. And that's why the quality maintains itself so well. And this will be good stuff when this comes to fruition. So that's what's on the horizon with the footage, everybody. So pretty cool stuff. Just going to remove that. There we go. There. Now, I hope you guys think that's cool. I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see that. And I can't wait for our announcement. That's going to be such a big announcement we get to make next week. And I'm looking forward to it. You know, Canary Kids' curiosity is going through the roof right now. I love it.
You mean you actually shared something with me before the Canary Kid?
Well, I shared with you a little bit. I've been pretty hot. You know me, Dave. I'm always hush hush, right?
Yeah.
So I
well, you try to kayfabe things, but I'm usually pretty good about getting it out of you.
All right, so we're going to Fred Moore Junior High, and this is still, learning curves. This is only our second taping in Fred Moore, this particular show. It's the second taping of the second taping, like the second show of the second taping.
Right.
And so it's still kind of Garage Days wrestling style here. We're not really perfected yet. That'll come in the next few weeks, though, because we're going to start doing practice sessions at this point in time, where we really start trying to get the wrestling up to speed. Because once we made the decision to go to the Armory, we only had 2 months or so to prepare for it.
Right.
And that, not preparing for it, not only is that selling tickets and getting posters and all that stuff, it's getting the wrestling up to speed. That was just Jason's big concern when I did this Armory thing. Jason's like, I don't think Jason's thing is thinking was, I don't think we're ready to do an Armory show, Sean. I don't think our wrestling's up to speed. That was Jason's big concern. So probably right too.
Every ticket sold was happy with the show.
They were. And you got to remember, at that time and that time frame, that time period, old school style wrestling, we kind of fit in. We fit in enough. Oh, yeah. We certainly wouldn't fit into today's technical, crisp style, right?
Right.
But back then we sure did. All right. I'm sure you're tired of me gabbing away and having to look at Dixie Dave. Let's get this show on the road. Dixie Dave. All right, here we go.
30, your gums flapping like 5 seconds after the show starts.
All right. And as usual, as always, we will take all your comments and questions and suggestions in as we go. Kind of our makeshift intro. Or makeshift music, I should say, for that intro.
Yep.
It's no longer the Rocky Overture like it used to be. Of course, this intro was a lot of the footage when we made this intro was taken from the garage shows, so that's why you see a lot of garage footage in the intro.
Well, you know, the garage stuff was better than Group W stuff. The Group W stuff was better than the basement stuff.
You know, that's a move that Ace did there that you don't see very often, a reverse full Nelson. You know, it's effective submission hold. I just don't see it a lot, though. That was the reason Ace did it, because those shoot title matches, he knew he could get guys to give up with that one. Yep, up to the ring. Yep, these were actual, I redid these, but these were like as close to computer graphics as we could get.
Yep.
In 1985, 86. The only thing removed from this, from the original, as Davis said many times, the only thing removed from this is the public service, PSAs, yeah, the public service announcements. They were like commercials for us.
I see Damian Thorne's in the house.
Yeah, Damian's in there.
Yeah.
He says, I see the chair is back in the ring. Well, that was, if you're talking about the chair shot in the intro, that was from the Group W cable days. Because that was Group W cable footage.
You're up next, AJ.
Ah, the Slickster. Slick Steenerson.
Slick Steenerson.
You know, Steenerson was a big kid, but he could move like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, Chris Irick on commentary. Whew, that's gonna be tough to listen to.
This is the eye. My partner's in there, and we will get it. That's my partner.
And this ring, though. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
You know, after the eye left, I remember Slickster and I tagging up once.
And I'm gonna tell you something.
That could have been a good tag team.
Yeah, that was in Fred Moore.
Yep.
You hear it.
Probably a handful of tapings after this one.
You hear it yourself.
Yeah, it wasn't much. It was after, you know, obviously after the Armory show.
Is it that
Right.
ring?
I don't know what I was telling Troy there when I left, but I tell him
As our
something.
referee,
So this ring from hell, as you can see, there's a good shot of it here. It's concrete floor, and then it's got like 2x4s to keep the wrestling mat pads in place that made up the ring. These are just wrestling mat pads. And so bumping in this ring, oof,
Oh, you hear it. You see
but we
it.
loved it.
Kid
Almost as bad as bumping in on that stage.
Oh yeah, but we loved it though.
Yep. I think that stage had a little bit more give though.
Yeah, a little bit.
And we have a special announcement from Russia.
And Eyes commentating is just horrible. I remember getting on him after this, like, Chris, what are you doing? I'm fat. And what I did is I said, Chris, you are suspended from the microphone. Like, I suspended him from the mic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I didn't like, the kids are just having fun clowning around. I didn't like it. I wanted us to be more serious. So I was always, that was a problem with me back then. Sports Talk 117 said, Is this the ring in the basement of the school? Yes, it is. We're in the basement of Fred Moore Junior High. It's as Wayne's answering to you here. The ring was there for Golden Gloves boxing, and I actually had to get Golden Gloves boxing permission in order to get into Fred Moore. That was one of the stipulations, and they did give us permission. You know, they had, you can't see it, but off behind the camera and everything, there's punching bags, there's the stand-up punching things, all sorts of boxing training kind of stuff.
Right.
Get out of here, wimps.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to fight with me,
We got this for a couple hours a week. And...
See, Kelsey tried to do a drop kick there. Kelsey, you are not Crusher Crossen. I just got to say that. Kelsey is not Crusher Crossen. I'm getting on Kelsey a little bit because he's giving me a hard time over my drop kick on Instagram. I got to get on his case a little bit there. You know what, though? Kelsey had a good look. I like the way, his outfit right now, the way he always dressed with the USA shirt. He always pulled the socks up to make him look like wrestling boots. Very good look. Yeah, Kelsey's trying, though. You got to give him an A for effort.
Yep, and at this point, Slickster still hadn't quite perfected the timber fall.
Well, Gizmo, I can answer you this one. So, does the school still have a ring in? Do they still have this ring in the basement? The answer is no. It wasn't too much longer after we only had use of this place for about 6 months. It was a 6-month pilot. And it wasn't too much longer after that where the school parted ways with Golden Gloves boxing and they didn't allow this anymore for whatever reason. I don't know what the reasons were. But yeah, so they got out of there. And now I don't know if that basement section's even accessible anymore because they've added on to the school now.
Right.
And remodeled it and stuff, and I don't know if you can even get to this part of the basement anymore. I mean, it was just this little area that was finished with concrete and that for this. The other part of the basement was all like crawl space of the school. Remember, it was dirt and everything under there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way Anoka was,
Yeah.
Tokyo Terror. This is the interviewer day, and there's no more of that.
But they had all sorts of stuff they stored in the other side of the basement over there, like big, like crash mat pads and stuff, like they use in current training, with the kids today. So we would take that stuff and bring it into the ring on our training session days, and that was one of the things I did with the kids to get them to do the drop kick. I would teach them running drop kicks with the big crash mat pad to land on. So that's how kids learn the drop kick in the NWF. You learned it by doing a running drop kick. Got comfortable jumping up and knowing you can land on a nice comfy pad. And then after a while, we pull the pad away and then you start doing it without the pad.
Yep.
It's kind of like, think of it like putting training wheels on a bike. With kids, you got to give them a crutch in the beginning. So having the crash mat pad is essential.
Yep, once we started doing practice sessions, though, out at the pole barn, didn't have the crash pads.
No, we didn't have any crash mat pads, but we had a functioning ring.
Oh, yeah.
That made a big difference. It's good to see you again, Wayne. We missed you for a few shows there, but it's nice that you're popping in. I'm glad to see you here. I can't wait for the announcement next week. I'm so excited to bring this announcement. Big news coming, folks. Stay tuned on Forward for that one. Plus, we have a special guest coming up on Forward as well. So that'll be a fun show.
You need to ask me before you book me.
And here's Steve all dressed up in the suit and everything. I like it. Good look. Yeah, these shows are a little tougher to restore because I had to rebuild all these slow-mo parts. So this slow motion part, I had to reconstruct it because we didn't have slow-mo back in the day. We faked it, and it had a really rough look. And now I can make them nice and clean. So, Corporal Crossen, still wrestling yet. His mom hasn't said you can't do it anymore yet.
Yep. That's the whole reason that we had to go with Rattlesnake Jake 2.0.
Yeah. This is a good question from Sky Sports Video News. So Sky Sports says, did the school put any restrictions on what you can do and when you could use the ring? There were stipulations, like we had to have an adult there at all times. Well, that was easy because Steve was an adult, so that was an easy one.
Well, by age.
Right, but that's the requirement as somebody over
Yep.
18. So it didn't have to be a parent. So Steve was our adult. I mean, the very first taping we did, my mom came to be the adult. But then we realized Steve could do that role, and so that every show going forward it was Steve. And then the other stipulation was on Saturdays. We had it every Saturday morning
Yep.
from like 7 or 8 a.m. all the way till 1 o'clock. It was great. Great little gig. As far as on what we can do, no, we could do anything we want. It was our show. Like they didn't say you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't go off the top rope. There was nothing like that. U.S. Enforcers. That's Slick Steenerson in the eye.
Yep.
And I remember Jason asked me the day of the show. He's like, so whoever was going to be his partner didn't show up, and he's like, "Can you do it?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So that's why I'm teaming up with Jason. He just needed a partner. It was a last minute decision.
Right.
This is like one of those things. When we did a show like this, I would book out the card. We'd have a card, call it the card, and it was all written out on who's wrestling who, and we'd have the who's going to go over. And then that was all written out. But we never described, like, this is what's going to happen in the match. You're going to do, nobody planned their match out move for move.
No.
No, it's just,
was just okay. Like when I wrestled Terry. Or no. Chris
Chad.
Or Chris,
wasn't it Chad?
or yeah, Chad.
Chad Randall?
Yep. When I wrestled Chad, it was okay. Chad's going over.
You see the ref trying to break up the eye, and
I don't even know if you were told that, were you? You might have been. Because it was your very first show, so you might have not. I don't know if we told you that much. Usually on the first show, we didn't say much. We just had to get in the ring, and it was like an understanding you weren't going to win.
Yeah.
Nobody ever came in and won their first match. That's another thing. When you made your debut, you generally lost.
Yep, not like the WWE's doing now, where they get people coming in and the first match on TV they win.
Yeah, no, nobody. I don't recall anybody ever winning in the first time they come on. Might have got a draw or something, but not an actual win. It was because that would, you'd kill the character. You'd kill whoever your wrestling's gimmick. They'd be like, this newcomer just beat this guy?
Exactly.
This is going to be a very, 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 very good match. I think Crusher is just awesome.
Troy could, look at that. Troy could do a drop kick. Now, that's what I mean. He could move like a cat for a big kid. Very, very agile. That's Jason Annenson, the original Mr. X2 commentating. Sounds like Peter's with him too. Yeah, that's Peter. He's talking Vietnamese. Damien says, you can tell this is the early days by looking at what the wrestlers are wearing. It looks like some are wearing their school clothes. Yeah. I wish we were better on wrestling attire. I wish we were more, like, you got to look the part here, guys.
Yeah.
I wish we were better for that. That was one of those things I just kind of seen past in these days, but when I look back at it now, I kind of wish I'd have had more of a eye for that kind of thing. Chris Irick was pretty, he could have developed to be a pretty good character on the show. The only problem is his attitude off that camera was horrible.
Yeah.
We had to suspend him right out of the show. We had to kick him out. He's one of the few kids that got kicked out because he was getting in fights with everybody off camera.
Slick Stevenson is out of the ring. Slick Stevenson is out of the ring right now.
You know, that would happen a few shows down the road here, but yeah, we had to tell him to, we had to part ways with Chris.
They're going against the rope, and Crusher Crossen trips him. Crusher Crossen trips him. Slick Stevenson.
And then Jason, you know, Jason Clausen is Corporal Clausen. He liked it at first, but after a while, Jason just liked doing the managers more than anything.
Yeah.
That was his, you know. He did like Rattlesnake Jake, but other than that, he really liked the managers. So he didn't need to wrestle, you know. He just enjoyed making a character on the show, even if it wasn't a wrestler.
Right.
He's telling Eric to get in the corners before he tags him, Troy.
Is going to get.
What are you doing, Eric?
But he's having a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, this match is kind of chaotic. See, just even a little bump like that was rough in this ring.
Oh, yeah.
No, even though that wasn't a big one. You know who took big bumps in this ring was Steve. Yeah, he would jump off the top rope, take those clotheslines or whatever, suplexes, and he would abuse his body in this ring. Steve would. Vandar too. Vandar would take big bumps in this ring. I remember. The atomic drop, is that move still done, Dave?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's been a while, huh?
It's a tag to Corporal Crossen.
Wayne, what do you say? The atomic drop still a thing, or is that kind of a move gone by from yesteryear?
It's kind of one of those moves where they only do it like if they want to make fun of their opponent for a couple seconds.
What do you mean by make fun?
Well, they'll do the inverted atomic drop.
Oh, so not kind of like a nuts shot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Corporal Crossen is in a little bit of trouble in the corner.
Well, Wayne says it's still a thing. I would think so. Like, it's funny, like some moves have changed names. Like, I'll give you an example. You know the Cobra Twist? You familiar with that, Dave?
Very impressive move by Crusher.
Yeah.
It's basically the same exact thing as the abdominal stretch. Yeah, you know, Shikan and Casey's finisher.
Yep.
Same move. They just changed the name. So it's like I've never understood that too. Like with the veal throw. A veal throw is just a hip toss, but they called it the veal throw. So there's multiple names for moves. Yeah, this match was just complete cluster here. And part of that is Eric. He just is horrible at communication in the ring.
Yeah, one thing that is important is communication.
I do not yet know who wins.
Wayne says, who calls it the Cobra Twist? If you just go on YouTube and just search Cobra Twist wrestling move, you'll see it. And then when you watch it, it's exactly the same thing as the abdominal stretch. I don't know how the name got a different variation like that. But it's just like there's multiple names sometimes for moves, you know?
Well, you know, it's like Sergeant Slaughter had the Cobra Clutch.
Yeah.
Ted DiBiase called it the $1 Million Dream.
And then there's the inverted inverted body vice and the backbreaker. Really the same thing.
Just positioning.
Is an interview. Yeah.
Those nice belts that Steve made, they sure look good on camera.
You heard that by Corporal.
There's that blue belt. Talking about that blue belt.
Yeah.
You know, the little whip over there, they're no good. They had to cheat on us
Eric was a good talker. He could do an interview.
Slick was happy as long as he didn't have to talk on camera.
Yeah. Steenerson hated doing interviews. Yeah, this match is going to be rough. These are all fairly new people. It's interesting that the eye is in the corner of the U.S. Express. Or the American Express.
Oh, I think that's just because he wanted camera time.
Yeah, probably. Now, the very first show, that's Chad Ronnebaum there as part of the Rock and Rollers. The blonde-haired kid with the radio. But he was partners with the Eye. They came in as the Sons of Thunder, but that was one show because that was it.
Yep.
Now, the Rock and Roller, I think he went by Mike Sanger, the one in the blue in the ring there with Sergeant Smash. That he actually had some amateur wrestling. He was in amateur wrestling in school. He didn't use a whole lot of his amateur wrestling technique though in the ring, that I remember. You know, out of all these guys, Tough Tony, pretty good. Eventually, Tony would be pretty good. He really worked well with the Super Ds. Ronnebaum got pretty good as well.
Oh, yeah.
Sergeant Smash wasn't bad. You know, you can tell when you watch Chris Sergeant Smash wrestle, you know, he puts a lot of thought into what he's doing a lot of times. So he tries, you know, I would give him an A for effort. You know, he really tries. He's going to try a suplex here, but didn't quite get it. Those are the kind of things we'd eventually do in our training sessions that we're going to start up here that we'd kind of go over with all the and suplexes was one of the things we used to go over. So in time, you'll start seeing a lot more suplexes.
Well, I mean, if you're not getting the assist, it's a lot harder to do.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure. Paulus, this Private Paulus, he's only there because he's, you know, Sergeant Smash's friend. So he's only doing it for him. He really doesn't want to really be there, I don't think, honestly. But I think Chris just wanted to have somebody he knew come into it with him, so that's somebody he knows.
That was some hold. Yeah. Clothesline to the back of his head by Private Paulus to the back of
Tough Tony.
We have here. What is going on here? The ref, excuse me. Yes.
You know, eventually, I remember we busted one of these turnbuckles on this ring, too. I don't know. I think Steve was trying to tighten the ropes up to get them nice and tight, and he tightened it too much, and the turnbuckle actually busted.
Yeah.
And I remember it's like, Steve! So we had to go to the hardware store and buy a new turnbuckle. A big heavy-duty one like they have.
Yep.
Please stand by.
And we got Sports Talk in the house.
Yeah, Sports Talk says, did you guys do shoot matches during these tapings at the school? No, the shoot matches all ended from that match with me and Kelsey in the garage. Our last garage taping. That was the end of shoot titles. Shoot title matches and shoot matches in general. No more. Now, there'd be some stiff matches, like me and Thandar. But,
oh, yeah. Any match with Thandar was usually pretty stiff.
Well, later on. Like in these days, Thandar is pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Wayne's asking a question here. Private Paulus, was that his first name? No, it was what was his name? Paulus was his last name. What was his first name? Tony Paulus? I don't know. He was from Coon Rapids, though. I can't remember his first name. He didn't only last for a show or two, and then he was done. One of those one and dones.
Yep.
Again, just kind of having fun.
How do you feel as if you won that match? Good.
You hear me yelling at Sanger, it's their interview time.
Do you feel as if they've done anything dishonest? Not really. It was a fair fight? Pretty much.
Who's that reffing?
That's Troy Otto, Butcher Bulldog.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to another.
He was a good ref. Troy was. Troy Otto.
Next on our card is a single match.
You can hear me yelling at everybody to start sitting down and be the crowd if you're not wrestling.
Coming into our ring area from parts unknown, weight unknown.
Now, Jason Anderson, Mr. X2, he put a lot of thought into his outfit. You know, he made that outfit.
Mr. X,
Yeah.
USA Kelsey.
His opponent weighing in at 119, coming in from Tokyo, Japan. The Tokyo.
And then Tokyo Terror. These guys could work a pretty good match. So their match is actually pretty entertaining, I think.
All right, folks. Is that
Damien says, who did the NWF with the world artwork that pops up in between matches? Jason Crossen made that
swearing out in the ring?
initially. I kind of redid it a little bit to make it computerized, but it was Jason Klossen's artwork. Now, Jason Anderson was in karate, so he loves using karate. I don't know if Peter knew karate necessarily, but I know the Tokyo Terror, but I know that Jason did. So you'll always see lots of karate kind of moves with Jason, with Mr. X2.
Oh, Mr. X just steps on him, the Tokyo.
That's how you can tell the difference in the different Mr. X.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
What a match this should be. Rock and roller. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you know that these are two people.
I mean, this match is okay. They have another match, I think, in a few more shows that's even better than this.
Yeah.
This is their first one. Peter was really good though to work with in the ring. He was very, very athletic. He Tokyo Terror I'm talking about. He definitely, you know, somebody that I know we could have definitely developed more if had he not left the show so early.
Instead, he puts 9.8.
Well, I don't think he was given a choice on it.
No.
The Tokyo guy must think this is karate instead of wrestling.
I mean, I didn't know all the behind-the-scenes stories, but
Thinks that
I understood what happened. And
Yeah.
USA Kelsey. As you see, once again, I have the best men in my.
Kelsey talking about his managerial stable.
That was.
My only problem with Kelsey managing is he likes to walk right in front of the camera all the time when he's managing and block the view. You'll see him do that.
In the Fred Moore Junior High, as he said.
Right now he's in the corner like he should be, but
He's grabbing the hood of Mr. X. The Tokyo Terror is kicking him in the face. Oh, it's an elbow smash.
yeah, everybody loved being down by the ring.
He picks him up
Yeah.
right back corner.
one of the biggest problems we have with battle royals is when we throw kids out, they like to hang around the ring apron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, ref, you want to put 9.9 on the
Instead of just
scale?
getting out of there.
You better get wrestling if you don't. Oh, that was a flying chokehold. That was the kind of one.
I see one of the Russians in Tokyo's corner. That's
Here for a minute, let me take this mic.
Brutus Markov, we called him.
Something here for a minute.
Steve Owens.
Coming up, Rattlesnake Jake.
Ah, this is the debut of Rattlesnake Jake,
Frankly, I don't care. And
I believe. Or maybe it's the second debut, but
it looks
this
like
is the
Mr.
second
X2 is
show
gonna
of the
win this
taping.
match, so.
That was a few words from Crusher. Now it's to rock and roll if he has a.
Well,
That's Chad
they're
Ronnebaum
both
talking,
doing
rockin'
some karate
Ronnebaum.
here, as you can see. Whoa, he missed. Punching. Hit, oh, right into the floor.
We're gonna have a special guest on our next Rewind show, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
They wrestle. 2 minutes left. Yeah, 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, the one and only Hall of Famer.
Look at that, choking. Tokyo's in pain.
That would be
I just can't.
the Irish Terror. Jamie McPartland going to join us in 2 weeks.
I tell ya, choking.
Gizmo says this is a really good match. They're putting on a good show. Yeah, they, like I said, they were, first of all, they were good friends outside, and they went to school together, so they knew each other. You know, knowing each other makes a big difference.
Right. I mean, you can get away with more when you know each other. I mean,
yeah.
Tokyo, I call him. Your winner. Sean, I'd rather have US 5 minutes. I am from USA. That was 5 minutes. You guys! I will do this. It is. Oh, okay. You're on camera now. I'll come.
But behind the
walked
scenes.
right into the camera, something he complains about.
Well, that's because they didn't know if the camera was running. If you heard them talking, they thought they hit pause by mistake, but they didn't. Well, the guy's going to check it out. I guess I'm going to translate. Now, you got to remember, when I translate from, I have no clue what he's saying. And this is just us kayfabing, guys. We're trying to make it the reality that this guy's from Japan. He doesn't know a bit of English. So that's why we had him talk in his, native language.
Right.
Where'd you get that? You guys just stay away from me and...
Ring Warriors versus Thandar and Kid USA.
I love Wayne's comment here. It's the first trash bag wrestler. I know Jason just used whatever he could, not a lot of money, so he just made, but it was, at least he put an effort into coming up with some kind of a look, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it was a trash bag or maybe he used it as the base, but he's just trying to get that kind of a look, kind of a different a look, so he looks somewhat, different, I guess. It's funny you asked that, Damien, because yes, blue is my favorite color. And yeah, blue is my favorite color. That's no surprise, right? The blue wrestling boots, the blue singlet.
I think that was a thing back in the 80s. Boys like blue.
Yeah. The Russian destroyers, this version of them consisting of Brutus Markov and Bulldog Butcher. And Kid Kelsey against Thandar. Yep. Because the music didn't play long enough to get flagged, we can let it. We can allow it to go through, so that's why I didn't have to take it out. It all depends on how long the music plays for, as far as if we can keep it in or not.
And a little bit of break from kayfabe. Bulldog and Thandar were
squaring off.
Yeah, they were cousins.
This cat puts about 9.8 on the Richter scale.
Yeah, Butcher, you're never going to find much technical with Bulldog Butcher. He was a brawler.
Yep.
But, he does all right. Troy Otto, Bulldog Butcher, he eventually after the first armory card, he wanted to just move into commentating. He wanted to get away from the wrestling, just do the commentating, be a heel commentator. So that's what he ended up doing shortly after the first armory card.
Yep.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your commentator,
Sky
Ray
Sports has a
Johnson.
comment.
Back to more
Yeah, he
NWF
says, when did you start
action.
shooting with 2 cameras? The only time we did multiple cameras was at the big events. So, and even the first armory card we didn't. It was first and second armory cards we didn't. It was the first one we did multiple cameras would have been October armory card. That was the first one.
Okay, look at this.
Mainly because the cable company, there's no way we could. They only allowed you to get 1 camera at a time. They would make exceptions for the armory shows, but for the every weekly thing, they wouldn't allow us to take multiple cameras like that.
USAers. I say USA is quite better than Russia. I have to admit.
You try to prove out there. I mean, you may be good. I mean,
Yeah, we're kind of treating them with kid gloves and stuff in this ring yet, because we're still not used to bumping in this damn ring yet.
Right.
I know, but the Rock and Rollers are good.
You know, that hard surface, man. I'm telling you.
All right, back to that.
But look at Tim though, Orlando. He didn't care. He just takes his bumps as like nothing else.
Pants perfect. I don't know. Hey, they're a little inch because.
Well, that's the thing about Tim is he was a tough dude,
Yeah, he was.
even away from the ring.
Here comes the.
What are you doing, Kelsey? I think that got messed up.
Well, you know, with not having a lot of clearance to come off the ropes.
Yeah, I suppose that too. I know this light was always a problem up there, and we realized that. So after a few shows, we try to cover that up so you don't see that light. We even tried doing a show with it turned off. I guess it's not so distracting, but
He does think he's the real champion. Of course, we don't.
Not for anybody unless they're OCD like
he
you
is
are.
pretty good, but
yeah.
not the champion. Repeat, not the champion. You know.
The reason he beat me was because I haven't worked out for a long time. Or else I would have.
Sounds like Slick Steenerson at the commentating table.
Butcher Bulldog is Sean Kid Kelsey.
Well, this match ended because it said the winners are. Well, they're still wrestling though. I don't know why that text came in saying the winners. Must have been premature.
USA.
I know, now it says time
You're
limit.
like being premature.
Up to the ring now for the. It's a time limit draw.
Do they do draws much anymore, Dave?
Oh yeah,
Do they still do it?
they still do time limit draws. They do schmazes.
Yeah. Kelsey and Thunder for an interview.
So at this point, were the Barbarians tag champs yet, or?
No, Jerry hadn't joined yet. I think it's Jerry Conan. He comes in I think on the next show or the show after. And when them guys won the belts, it was kind of a fluke. They weren't supposed to.
Oh.
Yeah. Not at least not initially. I think we were going to try to do it at the Armory, but they ended up winning them and Fred Moore. So yeah, I remember it wasn't supposed to happen though.
And you just kind of ran with it.
Yeah. I mean, how many times can you say we got to change the decision the next week? You know, you only can do that so many times.
Yeah.
Who is this turd?
Rattlesnake Jake. And Rattlesnake, he is just a brawler. He's not. There's nothing scientific or technical with him. Sorry, phone's going off.
With the referee
But yeah, there's nothing technical or scientific with him by any means. Sorry, guys. That's when I get jobs that come in for my work. It makes all that ridiculous noise because it doesn't want me to not realize there's a job. So, and I have to acknowledge it. So Rattlesnake Jake. Yeah, so it's just like having a match with Jason in this character. It's just gonna be a fight. It's not gonna be anything technical. You know, we're gonna, like I said, there's just nothing technical with them. Just clubs and forearms.
What is this? They're wrestling the ref? I don't know why. Maybe it's just because they don't want to. They can do it. They can do illegal stuff when he's unconscious. That's probably why. When he's unconscious, maybe he won't see it.
That was that Mike Sanger. Yeah, he's the referee. God, I wish I could find that half shirt. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh, man. Rock and Roll, did you see that?
Yes, I did.
By the way, who is this snake?
One of the lost pieces of NWF history.
Yeah.
As ridiculous as a snake. I mean, I
I
can
see
step
Kelsey's
on
in
it.
my corner.
After all the years I've been in this wrestling, I have never seen a name Snake Jake. I mean, of course, this is Snake Jake. Almost got changed. 2 count there.
Yeah, Jason was still kind of developing the character. Like, he doesn't even have the voice down yet, like he would get eventually. You remember how he had that real graspy voice for Rattlesnake Jake?
Yep.
Well, in this show, he doesn't have that voice. He's kind of more like a southern drawl to his voice, and when he does his interviews.
Well, you know, it takes a little bit to develop character.
Yeah, so it's like it's still in its infinite stage, I guess.
Yep.
The Jake, I've seen him. He's the newest man. I brought him in, and look at what a beautiful.
Busher's saying he brought in Rattlesnake Jake.
You should not have brought this.
Now, how would a Russian bring in a rattlesnake and a
I
rattlesnake?
know. From the Everglades, Florida, right?
Yep.
Oh, did you see that? He missed.
My power elbow drop. That's what I used to call it. I would wind up with it like that.
right here you see
Yep.
it. Snake getting beat. The snake is getting beat.
Elbow off the top rope.
Is it gonna make? He's gonna make. Yes, he made it.
Leg drop
He's gonna roll
to the back.
over there. Oh, that's a good move. Cause
Look
you
at what a
can't go
beating
front.
Snake the Jake is taking from Crossen. Your name? He just got pinned.
Get out of here, Paul Glory, bye.
Kelsey wanting more camera time.
What is he doing?
Yeah.
Get that belly out of my camera. That's not muscle. That is flab.
Jason and Rattlesnake Jake character. His idea for the character is like a Mad Dog Vachon in a mask. That's who he kind of wanted to be.
Get out of the camera.
No, I was able to go off the top rope. Can't get a lot of height though, right? Hit the cement.
Yep.
If you tried. Yeah, Jason Clausen's the one who came up with that graphic. That NWF globe thing. I just redid it, what he did in the computer to make it computerized way back when. That's what this
Right.
is. So I listened to Jason's interview here. It's just not the Rattlesnake Jake that he eventually became.
Why has Kelsey got the world title?
He was my manager, so he's still holding it. Or was. Now, why does Iric have my belt is the bigger question. I just noticed he had the belt. We had to skip Mr. X's match. It was Mr. X against, I can't remember who he went against.
Sounds like Tokyo Terror.
Tokyo Terror?
That's not the maroon belt.
What's that?
Oh, for a minute there, I thought that was the national title because I didn't see the...
It was the national belt.
Okay, so I wasn't imagining things.
Yep, well, that was the national belt. I think this was the first show Steve debuted on. Or no. Or maybe the first Fred Moore show he brought it in, I think. So a 6-man tag, the Rock and Rollers and the Eye against the Russian Destroyers and the Tokyo Terror. These 6-man tags can get pretty chaotic, I'd say. Man, Mike Sanger didn't last too long. He was kind of a one and done rock and roller.
Well, you know, we had a lot of one and dones come through.
He might have done 2 shows, and that was about it.
Our tag team, but he has chosen to try to help out by beating the Russians. Oh, look at that.
I like how Butcher takes the shots. He gets hit, and he just kind of, you know, dazed a little bit, gets hit again, dazed a little bit.
Here comes the Eye into the ring. Ref calls him out. Come on, guys.
This is where Mike's amateur shines a little bit there. He's getting pinned, and he's getting out of it, like with his, you know. That's where the amateur wrestling kind of ties in a little bit with Mike Rock and Roller.
Do I see the Crusher? Let's see if we can get a word from him. He cannot get a word from him.
You know, it's really funny with Peter, with Tokyo Terror. It was a couple shows or so leading up to the Armory show where Peter said he's decided he wanted to quit the show. He didn't want to do it anymore. He just said he's not going to go forward and he's going to quit. I said, okay. And then one show goes by, and the next show, unannounced, Peter just showed up. He's like, I changed my mind, I'm back. I was away from it for a show and said, nah, I'm coming back. I never knew why he quit, but he did come back after one show of being gone. It's hard to say. It could have been, you know, somebody teasing him at school. Who knows? Some of that stuff happened too.
Yep.
And they all win. The bad guys, the NWF. This is really. Get things under control in there.
That's Crusher Crossen and Rough Ryan in the ring there in the garage.
Yep. And Wayne's got more comments.
Wayne said it might have been you teasing him on the school bus. Did you tease him, Wayne? Peter was a nice kid, though. I mean,
Oh yeah,
wasn't really
nice
a mean
kid back in the day.
Yeah, it wasn't really a mean bone in his body. February 5th.
Crossen and Clausen production, huh?
Yep. That's where Jason was real heavily involved as the co-producer. You know, when Jason joined the show, I knew right away. I had a real good, keen sense of people. I knew that who was going to be a really good leader behind the scenes, or somebody that I could really rely on. And Jason fit. I knew he was somebody I needed to be as a co-producer, because I needed a co-producer. And so I can distinctly remember calling Jason after meeting him and spending an hour with him on the phone, just going over the idea of him being a co-producer, talking, seeing if he'd want to do it, and then of course he did, and just going over all the things that I need him to do. And yeah, it's very methodical. I plan things out quite a bit off the show, as far as what roles you're going to have, what you're going to do. So now Wayne said he didn't tease him. He's probably just asking questions. Yeah, we got a lot of people do that. I can remember getting questions at school too. One of the biggest things everybody always like to ask is, that's fake though, right? It's always fake. They always want to ask that one. It's fake, right? Like they want confirmation, like we're going to tell them, right?
Back in those days, you never spilled those beans.
No, I mean, we didn't, not openly, no. But I remember people always, I remember people always asking that. It's like usually one of the big questions is, it's fake, right? And they would want you to confirm it. And I'd always answer the question as, well, tell me how you fake a body slam or a suplex. When you figure out how to fake that, let me know. That's how I always answered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, since kayfabe's died, I always tell people, I don't like using the word fake. Scripted, predetermined, yes.
Yeah.
Fake, no.
And you still were sore after a match or the next day or whatever. You'd feel it, And
I'd straight up tell people, I'm like, okay, kind of like you said, you get picked up, turned, and thrown down. I said, yeah, the pickup may be fake, the turn might be fake, but that sudden stop at the bottom, that's not fake.
Especially in that ring we just seen.
Yeah.
And now it was altogether different when we got the professional wrestling ring and we were able to actually take proper bumps. That was different.
Yep.
But it's still not a picnic. But it's not nothing like what that was on that Fred Moore ring with no give whatsoever. It's funny. I was talking to Canary Kid on Forward last week. We were talking about that. I was mentioning this ring from hell when we talked about the Fred Moore show last week.
Yep.
And Ricky said, I can relate. We had to do a show once in a boxing ring. And he goes, that sucked. So he said, I can totally understand what you're saying. So he gets it.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably wrestling one of those flexi steel rings.
Well, but he was in a boxing ring, like an actual, which had no bounce. Not even flexi steel, just steel.
No, I'm saying what he wrestles in
on
a regular basis. I'm sure it's flexi steel.
Yeah, apparently, but I guess they still have a spring in it too for some reason on their ring. This is an older ring, so they got a flexi steel with a spring, I think. Anyway, I forget how I explained it, but yeah, there are some hybrid rings like that have a little bit of both. I think he said their beams like bend, and then after a while they got to turn them the other way around, so they bend the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd be at Gizmo's comment.
Oh, Gizmo, is that where we're at? He says, did you know how many people were coming to the taping on Saturdays, or was it whoever showed up got the match? No, what I did is I would call. I had everybody's phone number. This is back. Okay, we could date ourselves here. So 1986, no cell phones, no computer, no email, none of that. You had rotary phones. So I would call up everybody, probably usually in midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever. I call them up and say, all right, we got a show coming up Saturday. Well, when we were doing Fred Moore, everybody knew every Saturday morning we did it. So they would always know that we're doing it. But I would still call up and confirm, are you going to make the show? Are you going to make the show? Yes? Okay. And I would get a yes or a no. And then when I have all that down, then I would figure out the card in advance and get it all planned out. And then you'd show up. Now, Would there be people that would not make it sometimes, even though they said they were going to? Absolutely. That happens.
Yep.
So then I have all the original paperwork. I still have the paperwork of this. I should show this sometime. So I'd have the card written, and you can see here scribbling and then rewriting of a wrestler because we had to change it because somebody didn't show up or whatever.
Well, it's anytime you see a poster, card subject to change.
Right. But I have all my original paperwork that I had. I saved all that stuff. So like all the original cards for those tapings.
Right.
And then, but yeah, that's what I do. I have to call everybody, kind of confirm it, get them confirmed, then figure out the match on paper of what it's going to happen, figure out who's going to win and everything and who's going to lose and all that stuff. And then it would all be planned out. All the wrestlers would be told is you're wrestling this person and this is how the match is going to go. Pretty much all they were told. Like, I mean, this is who's going to win or lose. Right. And then the rest is up to them guys to put the match on. And
you call it in the ring.
Yep. There would be times where we'd have things happen that I would plan ahead of time. Like, Tokyo Terror used to hit everybody with them. We called them a piece of cement, but it was just styrofoam painted like cement.
Yeah.
And he'd bust it over their head. And that was planned in advance. Like, this is how this is going to end. You're going to come in and you're going to crack them over the head. Right. So stuff like that. Oh yeah. And then Wayne was saying, and I knew that's what you meant, Wayne. He goes, that was probably the ugliest wrestling ring I've ever seen, talking about the Golden Gloves boxing ring. And they did eventually get a nice canvas for it after a taping or two in there. So we had a nice, solid, nice brand new canvas they put over that. So it started to look a little better. But yeah, it's pretty rough looking. Just a tore down, authentic looking gym, really. Boxing gym, that is.
Yep.
But yeah, that was Golden Gloves. I mean, we were just, again, though, so what happened was we got kicked out of the garage because the Minneapolis Star-Tribune did the beautiful article on the show and got a lot of publicity in the Sunday paper. And our insurance agent read the damn article. And he reads in there, family garage, kids wrestling. And he's like, this cannot be happening. And then he calls my parents because he recognized the name and said, we're going to cancel this homeowner's policy if you keep doing this wrestling. It has to stop. So because of that, we had no choice. We had nowhere to go. And I thought the show was over for a while there. But somebody suggested we try to get into Fred Moore again. And I had to go around Mr. Daniels, community school director, to make it happen. And he was not happy with that. In fact, he was pissed off.
Oh, well.
He didn't like the fact that I went over his head, but shit. I'll never forget the conversation. I went into his office and he's like, the next time you want something, you need to come to talk to me about it first. Don't go over my head to my boss. I don't appreciate that. That's exactly what he said to me. And I'm thinking to myself, I had went to him, Dave. I went to him 2 years earlier to try to ask permission, and he said no. So his memory was obviously faded. But I wanted to say at the time, and I had to bite my bottom lip, but I wanted to say, I did come to you 2 years ago and you said no. But I knew that would not do us any good. So I just bit my bottom lip and said, just knowing that we got access to this place, and said, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
It was a Band-Aid for us. It got us through 6 months. So. And then we started doing all those live events.
And then we got the pole barn.
We did do another school show, though. It wasn't Fred Moore. We did Sandberg Middle School.
Right.
And we did Sandberg Middle School in the back gym after school. It was an after-school community school event. We had about 20 or 30 kids show up to watch. And let me tell you, I was telling Ricky about this. So we did 2 tapings there. It was great. Went great. And at the end, I thought, as a thing for the kids, let's let them come up into the ring and see what it's like, because they were just itching to want to see it, right? So we're all done with the taping. They were a great little studio audience for us for this thing. So I said I'd let all the kids come up, and we have 20 or 30 some middle school kids coming up into that ring, climbing all over, going up, doing this, doing that. I'm like, Steve, this is getting out of hand. Here, we got to get these kids out here. Somebody's going to get hurt. That was a bad idea.
Not the first or last bad idea Crusher Crossen had.
Oh, that could have went south, but luckily nobody got hurt. I just remember that happening though. And yeah, but no, Sandburg. The only reason I got into Sandburg is because Mrs. Kipbooth was the community school director. She was my 6th grade teacher.
Yep.
So I knew she knew me, and I knew her, and I had a good relationship with her, and I just came to her and said, "Hey, I would like to do this. We need to do shows, so this would make a great thing for us. Can we do it?" And she said, "Yeah, I don't see why not." So she made it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, NWF went all year round, Damien. We summertime, winter, everything. Yep.
We ran all 52 weeks.
Yeah, there wasn't an off time. The only time sometimes there'd be lulls, like when we didn't have a place to put the ring up.
Yep.
Tape a show or whatever. We'd have some things like that now and then, but
yeah, we had a little lull there between Fred Moore and the pole barn.
Yeah. Wayne says, I've seen that done many times. Invite kids into the ring and never a good idea. No, you don't realize it till after. Like, it sounds good. And then all of a sudden you see, I just remember it getting chaotic. And I'm like, somebody's going to get hurt here. We need to get these kids out of here. And Steve was with me. And I'm like, Steve, let's round them up. It's like rounding up a herd of cattle. These kids running all over in there. But I don't know. I just wanted to give them a little taste of the ring. They took the time to come and watch us, and for basically 2 hours, we did 2 tapings.
Yep.
So it went quite well.
And you actually had a locker room to dress in.
Yeah, and that was the cool part. We had the gym, the boys' locker room there that we could use right there to change in, and lockers and everything. There was even showers if you wanted to shower. So yeah. The Armory had showers too. Do you remember?
Not really.
Yeah, they had showers and stuff. I remember Thandar and those guys showered after their match.
Yep.
Yeah, there were showers.
I remember when I went there a year or so ago. Just walking in there and looking around and explaining to the guy what we did there. And
well, Wrestling Revolution Keaton I don't know if they'll do it, but his dad kind of thinking about maybe coming to SummerSlam with Keaton. Maybe.
Yeah, you and I kind of talked about this.
And I said, Wrestling Revolution, Keaton, if you ever come, I'll be there as well. And we'll take you to the Anoka Armory so you can see the place.
Well, and I mean, you don't even need to be here. They just need to get a hold of me because I'm less than an hour away.
Dave, Keaton wants the nostalgia of Crusher Crossen. He wants me to be there to see the Anoka Armory.
You see, if you remember correctly, Crusher, and if you're being honest, you will remember this. You know right where I'm going.
I know exactly where you're going.
Okay, you invited him in for an interview before you joined his podcast.
Yep.
And he specifically requested a certain superstar be there.
And do you know why he looks up to Dixie Dave?
Because he sees the greatness of Dixie Dave.
Now, let me refresh your memory. Because you were the underdog, the guy that everybody thought would never have made it and did. And that's what he admired about you. The fact that you stuck with it and kept doing it may have not been technically sound, but you stuck with it every week and got to be viable, and eventually won the tag titles, the national tag titles. So that's what Keaton really admires. And I asked him, I was on Wrestling Revolution Keaton show. I said, Keaton, I got a question for you. I said, if you could come in and wrestle any of the NWF wrestlers back in the day, who would you want to go in the ring with? You know who he said? Not Crusher Crossen. Not Dixie Dave. The Irish Terror. He really is intrigued with Jamie. He likes the gimmick, and he thinks seeing what he kind of watching some of his matches, he thinks he could have a good match with somebody like Irish Terror. So,
well, I mean, yes, I brought in a good worker for us.
although Jamie's memory of that seems to be that he just watched it on TV and came in, but I don't know. You guys have conflicting stories there, but I'll take you for your word on it, though.
Well, Jamie and I were friends in school, and I told him about the league, and
I'm sure you did.
he had been doing something with, in his bedroom, basically taking the old spiral telephone cord, setting up posts around his bed, and
and even when he did the CWF, he built that ring and did it in the park in Coon Rapids. Got a permit from the city to do it, even to set the ring up in the park. Can you believe that? Yeah, Jamie was pretty innovative, but you know what? And Jamie credits me for that. He credits me, my influence on him that gave him well, you heard it. I don't have to tell you. You know how he feels, but and that's a compliment. I appreciate that. We're gonna, Jamie McParlin, the Irish Terror, is gonna join us in 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to that. We're gonna have Jamie on again, and it's always fun to have Jamie, and we can, talk about the good old days again, and be great. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of that, Dave, I should go over what's coming up, huh?
Well, if you don't forget with your old timers.
Wait, I just want to make sure. It says I missed a comment, but I don't know. Did I?
Possibly Wayne's.
I don't know. I got them all. I did bring in Wayne's about the fact it's still up. All right, let me go to the other. That's why, because it was still up. I had to get rid of it there. All right. So what do we have coming up? Well, first of all, what's coming up on this coming Sunday here with Wrestling Revolution Keaton? We got this. And I don't know anything about this person, but it's British Wrestler Hall of Famer Dropkick Dennis Lord. So I'm really looking forward to learning about this, but that's Keaton's guest. So Dennis Dropkick Lord, I imagine he was pretty good at the dropkick, huh?
That's what I would guess.
Just guessing, but yeah, so this would be a fascinating interview. I'm looking forward to it. And then, of course, a week from tomorrow, guys, tune in for this one. This is I should say, huge announcement and special guest. It's going to be a big one and historical announcement. Let's just say that. One something that is going to be quite interesting for NWF and the NIPW. And that's the only hint I'm going to give, Dave. So yeah, looking forward to it though. It's going to be a big announcement. I think people are going to be quite interested to see what happens with that. So it's been a good show.
And just to let Keaton and Canary know, you never know when you're going to see Dixie Dave drop in.
Yep. And you know something? The only thing is, Dave, if you want to drop in, you need to get that thing fixed, like clear your cache and everything. Because when I'm doing Keaton, he's the actual collaborator.
Right.
So the only way you to get in is to get that figured out. And from what they tell me, you got to clear your cache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we can bring you in, no problem. With the other login that I gave you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's coming up on the future shows, and I didn't. You got to give me credit, Dave. You didn't give me credit. Usually I bash Canary Kid, I trash talk him, I tell him he's a punk, I tell him he's a weasel, he's a chicken shit, and I didn't do any of that this week. So you got to give me a little credit here. I didn't talk trash on Canary this week.
Which is a shocker. I mean, you're jealous of him because he's still young and active. And
well, something. How we were talking last week, how we talked about how I think he's kind of, I'm taking a little bit of credit for his drop kick getting good because he's, getting better with it.
Yeah.
Well, I brought it up to him and he doesn't deny it. He doesn't argue with me. What's that?
But he doesn't confirm it either.
Well, Canary, are you kidding? If Canary didn't believe it, he would tell me. No, I think it's safe to say that I've influenced him on the drop kick. I can't teach him it, but he knows it's important to me, so he's just taking extra effort to make sure he does it as good as he can and to make it better than mine. That's what he's trying to do, and I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
I think that's what everybody should be doing, trying to make themselves better in this business. So I get interested to see what this Dropkick Dennis is all about or whatever on Keaton Show. That'd be an interesting one. But yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been great. It's always fun having you guys in here chatting. And I think Dave and we're going to call it a night because my voice is about to go and Dave is about to fall asleep here. He's on fumes right now. So,
hey, that's my usual Thursdays, run on fumes.
So, like I said,
it's a little worse than others.
So, like I said, Sunday with Keaton, Friday with Canary Kid and our special guest, and big, huge announcement. And then in 2 weeks from now, we'll have Jamie McParlin and the Irish Terror
and the greatness that is me.
And the one and only, the five-timer. The five and dimer.
Five-time loser.
Five-timer, the five and dimer. Yes. Look at the wheels turning. You can just see the wheels turning in Dave's head. He's trying to come up with some kind of comeback.
Well, you call yourself a five and dimer, that and $20 might get you a decent Uber ride.
Funny thing, like Wayne says, 5-time. What wasn't that? Wasn't it Booker T, right? 5-time. Isn't that his deal? Yeah. So me and Booker, one thing in common, I guess. All right, guys. We're gonna call her at night. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next time we're live.
Yep.
So thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Adios.